So it's been an interesting 4 months so far with my Apple Watch Ultra. In truth, this device has single-handedly semi-retired all of my other Apple Watches, including my stainless steel Hermes edition and titanium models. Reason being, the Apple Watch Ultra is flat out amazing. It's got the largest display of any Apple Watch, the largest battery of any Apple Watch, and comes with some nifty features that some of the other Apple Watches simply don't have. I'm sure there are plenty of individuals who would still like to get their hands on the Apple Watch Ultra, but are still unsure about it, hence why I made this medium-term 4-month review. Well, rest assured, you've come to the right place. In this video, I'm going to give you guys my honest medium-term review of my own experience with the Apple Watch Ultra, what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and everything you need to know before buying. If at the end of this video you still have questions or are still on the fence, I encourage you to join our Discord server called Club 09. It's a safe space for band lovers, bandaholics, and Apple Watch enthusiasts. There you'll be able to chat with our vibrant community of Apple Watch owners who can give you their own personal thoughts and opinions as well. Link as always are in the video description. Alright, I don't want to drag this video out any longer than it needs to be, so without further ado, let's just go ahead and dive right into the action. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you got some pen and paper close by, or if you're a tech head like me, an Apple Pencil or iPad nearby, because we got a lot to cover. And to assist you guys further, I've inserted video chapters to this video should you need to skip over or rewind to certain sections of this video. Alright, so first things first, we got to start with pricing and availability. With the Ultra, it's thankfully pretty straightforward. You essentially only have one option, seeing as the Ultra only comes in a singular size, that being a 49mm casing size, which so happens to be the largest currently available on the Apple Watch line. Also, the Apple Watch Ultra comes in this beautiful sort of brushed titanium finish that's slightly duller in shine versus the Titanium Edition Series 7s for anyone who remembers those. But overall, the choice from Apple to use titanium is a no-brainer, with this being marketed for those individuals who traverse tough terrains, go on marathons, or for those wanting the most durable Apple Watch imaginable. The build and construction is extremely top tier, and the sapphire crystal display ensures that accidental bumps or nicks should be of no concern for you. This doesn't mean it's indestructible though, but for the average occasional drop or bump, trust me, the Ultra is well adapted to withstand even the most extreme circumstances. But anyway, back to pricing. You can pick up the Ultra at a starting price of $799 and comes in your choice of 3 distinct and exciting band choices. You got the Ocean Band, best suited for those people who happen to explore aquatic activities regularly, such as diving or surfing. The Alpine Loop, which is best suited for trails and hiking thanks to its corrosion-resistant titanium G-hook design that ensures a secure fit for all sorts of occasions and environments. And finally, the Trail Loop, which is kind of like an enhanced sport loop on steroids that is very thin and has this little tab that allows you to adjust it on the fly. It's lightweight and very breathable. However, even though these 3 styles of bands are designed for the Ultra, all other bands are still compatible so long as they are the larger Apple Watch size bands. In other words, any of the 42, 44, or 45mm bands. And thank goodness, Apple would have really alienated a huge portion of their Apple Watch consumer base by switching up the band mechanism. So rest assured, all your prior bands will still work on the Apple Watch Ultra. Alright, and now taking a closer look at the design of the Ultra, since it's unlike anything we've ever seen from an Apple Watch. I'm not gonna lie, when the Ultra was initially debuted, I thought it looked horrendous. I don't know, at the time it just looked massive, bulky, and unappealing. But over time, it's honestly grown on me. Users with small wrists beware. The Ultra is massive. The casing size measures 49mm, which is 4mm larger than the larger variant of the Series 8. Those extra 4mm may not sound like a lot, but not only is the Ultra bigger, but it's also thicker. For reference, I use the small medium bands from the sport band line and also use the size 6 from the solo and braided solo line. So I guess my wrist would be considered average or right near the median. So clearly, the Ultra for me, as you can see, isn't overly bulky and is a good size. But for those with tinier wrists, the Ultra may not be the right fit for you given its tremendous stature. It is very nice to have that additional screen real estate, but it's not only about size. The Ultra has some distinct features about its design that sets it apart, namely the action button on the left hand side in this bright international orange color that is super uber useful. Initially I thought this button would be gimmicky, but I use it every single day. You can customize it to perform certain actions with just a single press, such as starting a workout, placing waypoints, and starting a stopwatch, just to name a few. You have a much larger speaker on the Ultra as well that can emit a high frequency siren that can be heard up to 600 feet away in the event you happen to be stranded on a hike or something, which hopefully doesn't happen to anyone. Then on the right hand side you have a crown guard that not only protects the watch from accidental bumps and nicks, but also from unintentional rotations of the crown itself. Honestly I think the crown guard makes the Ultra uglier, and honestly I think it'd look better without it, but it is what it is. Lastly, Apple Watch Ultra owners benefit from the titanium case rising up to protect the flat sapphire crystal display from edge impacts. This differs from the standard Apple Watches like the SE and the Series 8, which seem to have a slight curvature to the display and are not flat like the Ultra. While on the topic of the display, it's not only the largest, but it's also the brightest Apple Watch display, being capable of going up to 2000 nits of brightness, which is essentially double the max brightness versus the Series 8 or SE, and is super useful while outdoors on a bright sunny day. The display isn't always on display, which you'd come to expect when dropping down so much cash for a smartwatch, and it is thankfully IP6X rated for dust and is water resistant up to 100 meters, which again is double the depth of the S8 and SE are rated for. Also, while still on the topic of design, initially one of my few complaints with the Ultra was that while at the gym, and specifically while performing squats, my hand would accidentally press up against the side button and would essentially start a countdown to call emergency services unintentionally, of course. Clearly, because of its bulk and size, this was an initial nitpick that was quickly resolved, as you can simply just move the watch lower on the wrist or switch up the orientation so that the side button is on the other side, and then the problem is solved. It's just something I wanted to mention for any gym rats who squat at least 1 to 2 times a week like I do. In terms of performance, it's on par with the S8 and SE, seeing as its chipset is exactly the same, featuring the dual-core S8 system on a chip. And honestly, at this point in the Apple Watch's lifespan, it is snappy, very responsive, and has never given me any sorts of lag. As a matter of fact, this chipset should future-proof you for several years to come. Traditionally, the Apple Watch's chipsets allow them to support iterative OS upgrades for several years. I mean, the perfect example being the Series 3, which surprisingly was still being sold directly by Apple up until September of 2022 when it was finally discontinued. It was clear that it was aged both in terms of chipset and design, but goes to show just how well you can expect the Ultra to last. The Series 3 lasted almost 5 whole years, so rest assured the Ultra should be just as snappy as when you first bought it for many years to come. But it's not just about chipset. What about features? Well, I'm glad to let you all know that the Apple Watch Ultra is the king of features, offering a wide array of very useful sensors and technology that assist in monitoring your health and well-being. It's got loads of versatility, including a blood oxygen sensor, temperature sensor that aids in sleep tracking and menstrual tracking for females, an electrical heart sensor or ECG as it's commonly referred to as, a depth gauge and water temperature sensor, an optical heart rate sensor, and the Siren I mentioned earlier, which could help save you when you're in a pinch. Not to mention the suite of software features that could potentially save your life, such as crash detection, fall detection, emergency SOS, and a noise monitoring feature, which isn't necessarily going to save your life, but can help you preserve your hearing so that you don't go deaf by the time you're 40. All of this culminates into the ultimate and most capable smartwatch Apple has ever produced. But wait, there's more. Probably one of my favorite features of the Apple Watch Ultra is its insane battery life. Apple rates it as 36 hours, but honestly, for the one time, that's Apple being generous. I actually released an Apple Watch battery drain test in a point of view format. If you haven't seen that video, I definitely recommend viewing that by clicking the card at the top right, but from my experience, the Apple Watch Ultra easily lasts you well into 3, sometimes even 4 full days of use depending on your personal usage. And that's with the always on display toggled on. If you were to leave it on battery saver mode or turn that always on display off, who knows how long it'd last? Maybe 4, 5, 6 days? I actually am planning a battery drain test on just that, to test whether low power mode actually makes a huge difference or not. Only way to not miss out on that is by subscribing to my channel with bell notifications. Go on, don't be shy. Apart from that, the Ultra, just like the Series 8, supports quick charging, so you can quickly regain roughly about 45 to 50% of battery in just 30 minutes. There is so much to love about the Apple Watch Ultra. It's no wonder so many people are enticed and fascinated by its existence. I do gotta say though, even though the Ultra has been out for some time now, I don't tend to see many out in the wild. Could it be the highest price tag that's a deterrent? Or simply that it's too big for a good portion of the population? In any case, over the few months I've worn mine on the wrist, I've been exceptionally pleased with its performance, battery life, and versatility when it comes to features. My complaints are very minor and range from the accidental presses while working out with weights, and then there's the whole thing about not having many choices. You know, you get one color and one casing material, and that's about it. I really would have loved if they would have offered something like a space black titanium Ultra. Jesus, I think that would look so good. I've also heard of some people who kind of wish there existed an Apple Watch Ultra Mini or something, but it is an exceptional watch nonetheless, but it's just way too big for many people. Really, with the Ultra, you should mostly keep just 2 things in mind: pricing and size, because these are the 2 biggest factors to consider when buying it. I've had a lot of my viewers comment on my videos saying they returned or sold their Ultra because it was simply too big and clunky. But that's the thing, you have to weigh out the pros and cons. Yes, the display is large and the brightest of any Apple Watch. Yes, its battery is exceptional and it comes with the most enticing features that can aid in health tracking, but do please note that it's not suited for people with smaller wrists, and I can definitely understand how some people may be strayed away because of its monster price tag as well. I mean, for just a little bit more money, you can buy a whole MacBook Air, but if you ask me, I've been extremely happy with my purchase, and I just love the durability and features the Apple Watch Ultra brings to the table. It's safe to say this watch is marketed and was designed for the demanding needs of endurance athletes, outdoor adventurers, and ocean explorers, or someone who simply wants a smartwatch with an insane battery life. If the money's not a hindrance to you, I say go for it, but if you're unsure about sizing, try your hardest to see it in person at an Apple store before making that determination, because the last thing you want is to get buyer's remorse over an overly sized watch that you just can't stand. For all my Apple Watch Ultra owners, drop your thoughts down below. That has been my medium-term review of the Apple Watch Ultra. Guys, I try to be as honest as possible, but honestly, it is a top-tier watch and in my opinion is worth every penny. For me, it's a perfect size, and the best thing about it is its insane battery life, and it happens to look great with just about any style of Apple Watch band, which I do have a video solely dedicated on trying out the Ultra with every single first-party Apple Watch band ever released. Again, if you want to see that, click the card at the top right. I do have the new Unity band for 2023 on its way to the studio, as well as the new Mac Mini with the M2 chip, and after that, I'll be unboxing the new HomePod and reviewing the latest MacBook Pros with the M2 Pro and the M2 Max. That's been it for me, but as always, take care, and I cannot wait to catch you all in my next video.